Good morning, it's your girl. And oh my goodness, I hope you had a great holiday weekend. Let's get to Monday madness. Welcome to Karina's Forte. And oh my goodness. I had a great holiday. I hope you did too. Yeah, I didn't go shopping like most of y'all. Even though I think they're going to fabricate the numbers, you guys. I think they're going to say they're way more than what they really were. There were a few jackasses out there trying to catch a TV. Like, how many TVs you get? You need. If your TV ran out after a year, that's it. That means you picked the wrong one. Okay? And you about to buy the same TV again. Anywho, I digress. So let's just get it. Every single thing that's going on is so much to talk about. I told you Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying she's out, and now the other ladies are saying they're out. But then they got like 40 more Republicans that say they ain't coming back either. That's a telltale sign, real talk, that it's a lot of bad things going on. But the problem is this: they can't run from it because they were part of it. They didn't do anything. They allowed this guy to do everything and voted with him accordingly. So guess what? It's called an accomplice. Yeah. He do the crime, you did the crime with him. He do the time, you need an inmate number 2, is what I'm saying. Yeah. They think they're going to get away. They won't get away. And now they're really clamping down on Pete Hegseth. Yeah, because he's the jackass that, like, he reminds me of some old ass frat boy, right? Because they changed or tried to change the name of the Pentagon to Department of War. It's only a sign, it's only a placard. I don't think they could change the whole thing. I think they're going to try. But to change it all over is going to cost us about $2 million. Really? Nothing should be named the Department of War. Because what if it's a peace? You know what I mean? That's like calling it in. We coming for your heads. And so, yeah, they're going after him because you remember I've been telling you about the Venezuela, right? I've been telling you about Venezuela and how he's coming for them, right? And a lot of people, there's a lot of speculations. There's a lot of people on there talking like, well, that's where he's going to move to, or he's going to run to. Another thing is they say him, giving them some money also is like now he's starting trouble with them. Remember all the boats, the speed boats that he blew up or had blown up? Well, he told Pete, and Pete is the one who actually did it. You see how he dusted that off like, this is what I want. Well, I think you should. And he's not supposed to do that, right? But anywho, Pete went above and beyond. Pete did something like kill everybody. Like what happened to if these are drug trafficking speedboats, right? And they're coming here, which none of them were. If they're coming here, then maybe, just maybe, we should detain them and see what's going on. But they weren't coming here. This is my theory. I think that, and a lot of people do too, I think that that's his way of bullying Venezuela. See, because right now we got beef with like 5 other countries, right? Funny thing is, none of them have an army or a military force like that, right? And so we coming after little Venezuela. Venezuela is, they don't want no problems. But he making problems for them because he wants their oil. He want to tap into that. So that's the bullying tactic by stopping their speedboats. How do they know they're drug trafficking? We probably knew all this time, but they weren't coming here. So that's another country's problem, which is true. It is another country. We can't police for everybody. We got enough stuff going on our own. So I think he's bullying them into be like, you're getting some of that oil, or we're going to blow up everything that come by us. So Pete went above and beyond, like I said. And sometimes when they blew the boat up, there were a few people hanging on to the wreckage. He went back and bombed them again. He wasn't authorized to do that either, but he did. So now the Republicans are turning on him too. You see how they are? They sitting here turning on him now. After they didn't voted for all of this stuff that he could do, right? But anywho, that's how they rolling, and that's how it's going down. And it's getting nuttier and nuttier. They released the files, but they're all redacted. Like, what? That's not what they said they was gonna do. But look, more emails for some reason keep coming out though. And them emails is telling a lot too. I think those files are floating around somewhere, is what I'm saying. They showed like redacted. That could be anything. That probably ain't even really the real files. But too many people got their hands on it. Then they're looking to get Kash Patel, right? Kash Patel, the only thing is they can't really mess with Kash. You know why? He's privy to a lot of information. Take me down. I'm taking all of y'all with me. We all going down together. That's the thing. They let him sit in meetings he shouldn't have sat in, is what I'm saying. Both of these guys were super underqualified for these positions. I mean, they probably couldn't even been press secretaries. That's how, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And then you got Pam Bondi and all of these people. And those ladies is a piece of shit too. Because you know what? All of those ladies were groomed. They were all groomed by the president and Epstein. Epstein kicked it with one of them when she was 13, 14. Yeah. So now I think this is their thing. They think they're getting him back, but you're not. The guy who violated you then is violating you now in a whole different type of way. So that violation got you jobs that you didn't deserve. And they come up with this word DEI. It was affirmative action, right? They took away affirmative action, so they made up DEI. Yeah, and it describes all the white people in those positions. I say DEI stands for didn't earn it, period. The people they got rid of were like groomed for this job, like made for this job, know that shit in and out, know politics, know the law. These people don't know nothing. And Pete is the cousin that you don't let, like if you get married, he can't be the guy that holds the ring. You know why he can't be the guy that holds the ring? It's because he's the one that will lose it. Remember, he ended up texting a reporter about a bombing. That's what we got in the office right now, y'all. It's crazy. They worried about us. We knew our jobs, is what I'm saying. So yeah, those ladies are just hilarious. But the biggest thing is Trump. The way in which he speaks to women is atrocious. You know, you would think all the nasty things him and his buddies have done, that he loves women. No, it's just the opposite. He hates women. They're objects. I take what I want, that's it. They like ATMs to him. That's it. There's no love. He never loved none of them. It's crazy. He just wanted to have, when he had children, he just wanted to have seeds. You understand what I'm saying? So somebody could carry on his heir. Hopefully none of them going to be like him, but I think Eric Trump is a jackass too. I think he's going to be one of them, but they don't have enough power. His kids are not intelligent enough, except for his daughter. I think she's smart and she stayed back. If you notice, she ain't really out there like that. She ain't like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because he said some disparaging things about women. He's talked about every woman. And recently in the news, he didn't call the female reporter piggy, called another one stupid. You're ugly. And I'm saying this is the pot calling the kettle black. He ain't never been handsome. Trump has never been handsome. He ain't got not one handsome kid. His daughters are cute. But him, his sons, negative. One of them looked like a grown ass, what's his name? One of the monster kids, Eddie Monster. Yeah. And plus, those stupid kids allowed their father to bury their mother, who wasn't married to him at the time, on his damn golf course. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So look, here are some of the past comments he said about women. Of course, I wrote it down. So about former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, he said, she doesn't have the look. She doesn't have the stamina. I said she doesn't have the stamina. I don't believe she has the stamina. For what? You want to try her? I think Hillary would have gave him a run for his money, if you know what I'm saying. She would have been, lay that. Get it, Poppy. Stop. Hammer time. God. Then it was a former Republican presidential candidate, Carly Fiorina, right? Look at her face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that? The face of our next president? And look at him. Go look up Trump and his time portrait. Man, his gobble is tight, so it looked like a little, one of the purses your grandma used to have, the coin purse. Looked like a ha. Then Senator Elizabeth Warren goes, Goofy Elizabeth Warren, one of the least productive U.S. senators, has a nasty mouth. Is he okay? He even talked about Megyn Kelly. He said, the journalist, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. Now, he trying to get nasty, right? And then the person that accused him of assault, Lady Jean Carroll, number one, she's not my type. No woman is your type. Number two, it never happened. It never happened, okay? He took advantage of that lady. Then he comes for Rosie O'Donnell. She's a slob. Says the man who looks like the penguin right now. Come on. How does she even get on television? If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I'd look at her right in her fat, ugly face of hers and say, Rosie, you're fired. You can't make this up, y'all. This is our president. These are some of the things he said in the past. And then he talks about his daughter so disgustingly. I don't even know what to say, but I'm going to tell you what he said. So he says about Ivanka Trump, she does have a very nice figure. I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Sir, that's disgusting. So you know what that means, right? Allegedly, possibly. And then remember, Omarosa and him used to go back and forth, right? She was a White House aide. And he said, when you give a crazed, crying lowlife a break and give her a job at the White House, I guess it just didn't work out. What? All of this is crazy because I noticed that he does, he likes looking at women and using them, right? But that's it. But he doesn't really like women like that. He just doesn't. And you could tell by during the race, the presidential races, his first one that he won, he cheated. Now we know he cheated because Epstein helped him. And so he cheated on that. But then after he went against Biden, he didn't cheat. It was like, man thing. But then he goes against Kamala and he cheats again. Because right now she should be our president. We would not be in any of this right here we're going through. But this is how racist the country is, or bias, or what have you. It's just crazy. So look, a professor, LaFrance, right, psychology, was giving her psychological perspective of why he's that. Professor LaFrance says when comments go into the realm of insult, they can be insidiously harmful. I agree. A recent study looking at how women are affected by overhearing sexism found that even when a comment was not directed to the listener, it has a negative impact on the woman's self-esteem, measured by how well she evaluated her own performances and abilities following the incident. It just makes no sense. It sets up an atmosphere in which all women are targeted, not just one person who was a target. That's what's particularly damaging. And it's like, why does he do this? I think it's like I said, he treats them like objects. He's definitely something wrong with the guy. I definitely think he should get checked out because the way in which he talks to women is crazy. And even his own mother said he was something else. Let me tell you something, ladies. Whenever someone makes derogatory remarks like that, you get out of their vicinity. I know these ladies were at work and the way he spoke to them. What's wild, though, is that not one male said, hey, that's disrespectful. Watch your mouth. Nothing. They said nothing because guys have become little girls nowadays. They didn't say one thing. And it's crazy because, see, the women that they talked to, a few of them came back. One of them in particular dragged his ass on TV and he was heated. He said, you're a stupid woman. And all this, why would you ask a stupid question? And she said, no, why wouldn't you just answer it? Ladies, it's not okay. Fellas, it's not okay. It's not okay to talk to anyone like that. Degrading. He's trying to make you small so he could seem bigger. But then again, that's because he's a narcissist. And there's a lot of narcissistic behavior out there. Too much on women's side and male side, especially on the men's side. Okay? So just be looking out for that and know that No one should talk to you like that at all. I'm just saying. I still need you to get up. Yeah, you. Get up, get out, and don't let someone talk to you like that. I'm just saying.